Hello everyone, welcome back to Path for Cloud. So today we will gonna discuss the conditional expression, right? So we are doing the Python basic series, and so far we have discussed the installation of the Python, like how you can set up your local labs, and then we have seen the built-in functions. Then we have covered dictionary and list of data type, operators, set, string data type, tuples, and variables. So all these topics we have already covered, right? If you have not seen all these videos, so I would recommend just go and see all the videos to understand the basics of these Pythons. So in continuation of this Python basics, today we will discuss the conditional expression, right? Like how, because so far what is happening is whatever we are putting, right? Everything is getting executed by default, whether it's a true, whether it's false or not. But sometimes we have a requirement, right? Like we want that particular execution will be uh, done or will be executed only when there is a something condition met, right? So we will see how we can introduce that conditional in this. So we will see that what is the if block, and then we will see that if else block, right? With the nested if block, you what you can do is if, right? And then uh, later on else if, because you can put the condition inside the condition as well, right? Because you want to check multiple conditions. If something is true, then this. If that is not true, then do this. If that is also not true, then do the third execution. So based on your requirement, right, whatever the use case you have, you can do this conditional expression, right? So we'll see that if something is true, then only execute the following statement. If not, do nothing. Or if you're putting the else block, then what it will do, it will execute that particular uh, else block statement. All right. So I'm in my Jupyter notebook. I will open a new notebook here, and then we'll see how we can do this. Okay. So it is opening, and meanwhile, yeah, that's it only. Like if it will be executed only once we have the if true, then it will be executed this block, right? Else it will be executed, right? Like this condition, whatever the condition you will put, if that is executed, fine. If not, then right. Let's say if I'll say if true, right? That's what. And let me write this, then probably I will just explain the block and the indentation of the if. I am true and always will be executed, fine. And I will say print I will be executed always. All right. So let's see what is the difference between these two statement, right? See, what I am doing is I am just starting a if block here, right? Then I am putting some condition, and then I am ending that condition with the semicolon, right? This colon, right? Now it is done. The moment you put the colon and you will hit enter, right? You can see that my cursor is coming here, right? So so far you can, it's not a restriction or something that you can put only one print statement, or you can put your entire code right in this indentation. But the moment you will hit the backspace, right, then this whatever you will type here, right, that is something that outside of this if block, that will not be executed based on the condition, right? So let's see what will be the output we will get. Okay, so print is not defined. Yeah, why? Because we are using a capital P. Somehow I pressed Shift key. Right now, let's see. Again, we will execute it. You can see that, right? I am true and always will be executed because it is inside the if block, right? And that is why it is getting executed. And this is the outside of always, so it will be executed always, right? Let's see if I'll give this statement same, and instead of true I will just say false. Right now, what do you think, that which statement will be executed? Yes, obviously it is the last one, because this condition is false, right? Now if you run this, right, so you can see that it did not print this statement because here the condition is getting failed, right? the false condition is there. This block, right, whatever that code of code, or that statement, or that part of code, right, you are writing under the if indentation, then only it will gonna print that. Otherwise, whatever the outside of that particular stuff, it will always print that, right? So this is just that print. You can directly put that operator condition as well. Let's say if 10 greater than 5, right, I will say print 10 is greater, right? If I'll do this, okay, so you can see 10 is greater, right? And if I change this 10 less than small, and if I print, it will not give you anything, because there is no statement outside of if block. And whatever the statement or the code or the print statement you have written inside the if block, that will not gonna print, because this condition is false, right? Because 10 is not greater than 5, right? What else we can do? Let's say I am defining one variable, my age equal to 34, fine, and I can do this statement, this conditional expression with the variable as well. Let's say how my age greater than 30, let's say, and if I am doing print, I am older than 30, fine. You can see, right? It is doing that execution on the basis of this variable, right? Here you can see that my age equal to 34 I am defining, and I'm checking this condition, right? Let's say you can do this as well, right? You can do 34, then also like it will be, because this condition is getting made. What we are checking, either my variable value is greater than 34 or it is equal to 34. In both cases the condition will get true and it will print that stuff, right? So that's how that we can do this. You can do this if else execution on the list as well. Let's say I am taking one fruit list, okay, and I am just giving, because fruit list, you know that list always will be in a square bracket, so I will gonna define apple, right? I will gonna define orange, I will gonna define banana, and I will gonna define what else, watermelon, right? Let's see, you have this list, right, and you have executed. Remember that it will consider only the same kind of codes, right? That is why. So now if you print your fruit list, right, you will get your list, right? Now I'm checking, I'm putting my condition, right? If let's say apple in what, you're checking condition if apple in fruit list, okay, and then what you are saying, print yes you can buy, right? And let's define the else condition as well. Like else is something that if condition gonna fail, right, what will happen to that particular stuff, right? Else print you cannot buy, right? Let's see. So if apple in fruit list, yes it is there, right? So it is printing that only the if block condition, right? It will not print that particular statement which you have done, right? Let's say if I am just doing some mistake here, that statement, and if now if I am getting executed, you can say because there is no fruit called apple, right, you cannot buy, right? So that is how that you can do this stuff with the what you call this list, right? Same way we can do in the dictionary as well. Let's say I am gonna define that student list, okay, and its dictionary will always be defined with the flower brackets. Let's say I will say Amit, okay, and I will give, let's say, age, age of that Amit, right? Let's say 34. Fine, that is done. Now I will say Tom, and I will give the value of Tom is let's say 40, and I will say that Manu, and it will be like 32, and I will say, let's say John. Okay, so now we have three four value and key pair in our dictionary, right? It is done. If you print this, so you will have that key value pair, right? This is the key and this is the value, right? Same thing you can do, right? And you can print this, right? If something in this key, then do this, otherwise not. Let's say if I'll say if Amit in student list. Okay, but here what we are trying to do is we are trying to call the keys of that particular sorry, value of that particular key, right? If Amit in student list, but in there, right? But what we need to do is we need to call the keys of that particular stuff, right? So what I will do is I will say print, right? Amit is fine. Now that is fine. Now I need to print that particular value. So how we can print this? We can print this student underscore list, right? And then I will gonna give that key name. So what it will do is it will check that particular value and it will print it, right? So you can see that Amit age is 34. Let's understand one more time. This is our dictionary, right? Where we have defined some keys and those values to those keys. Now this is our dictionary. Now what I'm doing is I'm checking if Amit, okay, I'm giving one key where if I'll directly put student list, right, it will gonna fail. Why? Because there is no student list type is of dictionary, right? So we need to particularly define that operation, okay, on what against, like against what we are doing this particular operation. I am doing this operation against the keys. What I'm saying, if Amit in student list dot keys, if we find any value to this key, right, what I'm doing is I am calling that particular stuff. So what it will do is it will just print Amit age is 34, right? You can I think you can do the inserting as well. Let's say if I will say Mayank, okay, not in where student list. Now I am doing the reverse operation, right? Earlier we were checking if something is exist in the particular dictionary, do this. Now I am saying if Mayank not in student list, what it will do is I am gonna append that particular value, right? So what I will do is I will say student underscore list, right? And under student underscore list, I will say Mayank and I will give the value. Okay, it's executed. Now let's see what will happen to our student list. Here you can see Mayank is added, right? And if I'll run this again, there will be no change, right? Because it was already there, so it will not add. Like if I'll say instead of this Vibu, and now if I'll print this, so you can see uh, because here also we need to change, right? So now you can see Vibu is also added. So this way you can play around all these operations against dictionary, these if condition, whether you are using the list or whether you are using the what you call it, the dictionary, right? And else block also we have seen, right? If something is exist, then print or execute the if block statement, and if that is not true, then it will gonna print the else block statement, right? So that is how that you can take this value, right? And there is one more thing you can see. Let's say I am defining one more. uh, I am taking the student age, okay, I am defining one variable and I am taking the input from the user. Here in this case we are not hard coding anything, we will just please enter your age, right? It will gonna ask you, right? And we are converting that in this our integer, right? Now I'll check if student underscore is greater than 40. Fine. Now I will say print you are not eligible. Fine. Eligible to let's assume to take the addition that uh, admission to some student. All right. Now I will say elif, because first condition will not get executed, right? So what I will do is I will say if student is, right, greater than or equal to, let's say 25, or student age less than or equal to 40. Now I will say print you can take admission to college. Fine. Now the last else block I will execute, where what I will say is I will say like whatever this condition is, right? Then I will say print you can take admission to school. Fine. Let's execute this. So it is asking the age, right? I will just say 43. It is saying you are not eligible, right? Because it is checking this condition, and once the condition is met, right, it will not go further. Doesn't matter how many statement you have written, right? There is a way, like you can continue and you can break, right? That we'll discuss in further classes. But as of now it will not, because here the condition is getting met, right? And it will say you are not eligible. Let's say if I'm executing again and I'll say 32, you can say you can take admission to college, because our age is greater than 25 and less than 40. That is why it is taking this, right? And apart from that, let's say I am taking 18. So what will say, you can take, okay, there is some issue, let me see. Okay, because it is less than 40, right? So there is a problem here. Why? Because we are saying, because this is matching this condition, right? So what is happening is here it will just say that whatever is less than 40, right? So I will just remove this block and I will just do this again. So now you can see there, I'll take another use case for this, because there what is happening is or is something, right? So if you want to do that stuff, right, what you need to do is you need to set that and, right? And student underscore is less than or equal to 40, right? Now if you run this, so now it is running fine. Earlier what is happening is we are using the or. So remember, or is something that any of the condition is true, then this will print this execute. And due to that one of the condition was true, it never executed this, it executed this and come out of this execution, right? So if you need to compare a range, right, then always you need to use a and keyword. So this way it will not it will check, okay, student is more than 40, no, it will skip it. Now it came here, it check, okay, student is uh, greater than 25, or student is what do you say, that uh, 18, right? So it will say no, it here also the condition is not meeting, and whatever no condition as was met, so what it will do, it will just print the else statement. All right. So that is how that you can take the input. Let me summarize what we have discussed. We have discussed the if condition, like if true, like condition is true, then always it will print, and whatever this part is under indentation, only that part will be executed. Whatever the part outside of that if indentation, that will always be executed, right? Then we have taken the false example. Here the condition was false, so only the outside part will be executed. You can take the operator operation as well in the if condition, right? If 10 is greater, then it is printing this, because here it is less than. Like if you change this, then it will gonna print, right? Then we have taken the example of variable. You can do that conditional operation on the variable as well, right? Here you can see it is printing, right? Then we have taken example of the list, where we have some fruit list, and under the fruit list we are checking if something in the fruit list, print yes. If not, then print you cannot, right? Then we have taken example of the dictionary. We have the student list of dictionary, where we have the student name and their age, right? And it is, you can see that if something in the student list as a key, then print the value of that key, and it is printing this. If something is not in this, you can also append that, or you can add that dictionary, right? Here you can see that we have taken example of Mayank and Vibhu. Then we have taken example of, like, if you want to get the value from the user, right? What you can do, student age, you can take a help of input function, right? And we are converting that into the integer, and then we are taking this as a this, right? So based on this, what we can do is we can create one small calculator function as well, right? Let's try. This is your assignment, right? If not, then I will upload a dedicated video with the solution, right? So the assignment is uh, right, we need to define this. Let's say you need to take the input from user, right? Like two number, any two number. Then take the operation detail, whether he want to add, subtract, and division, right? Let's keep it simple, only add, maybe multiply, right? And then based on the condition, if he choose add, what you need to do is you need to add that, right? If he chose, let's say, subtract, right? Then what you need to do, you need to subtract those number. If he chose division, then you need to do the division, right? And if we choose multiply, then you need to do the multiply, and at the end you need to print the result, right? So this is a small uh, assignment, right? Let's try to do this, otherwise I will upload the solution in the next video for this. All right, so let's meet in our next video, where we'll gonna share the solution for this assignment. Plus, we will discuss the further uh, where we will see the for loop and the while loop, right? And then we will see the break statement and the continue, how we can. All right. So happy learning, guys. We'll meet you in the next. I'll take a pause here, and thank you for your views and comments and everything, whatever I am getting. And please support me to subscribe my channel and share it with your friends and everyone. Thank you. I will meet you in next. Bye bye.